And this video is just basically social justice warriors and their hypocrisy when they mention, that they're in the defense of Islam, Islamophobia. You have a lot of atheists such as Sam Harris. They basically make and of course Christopher Hitchens. They basically make a living. Of course, Christopher Hitchens is not with us anymore, but they make a living of debunking religion. But when they're debunking Christianity, or even if they go after Hinduism, no one cares. Or Judaism, no one cares. But as soon as they go after Islam, all of a sudden Sam Harris or Richard Dawkins is a Islamophobe and they're racist. Well, Islam is not a race. And please, especially you social justice warriors, I have nothing against you. I do not think you're evil, bad people, just misinformed about a lot of things. Read books such as Jihad by this guy. He'll give you a nice history of your peaceful religion that you're defending. It's a nice, beautiful history. And of course, you can have Islam, A Raging Storm. Another good book by Sheldon Smith. You can get this one at Sword of the Lord. This is more of a religious propaganda piece, but still, he's actually giving you, which is rare for religious people, things. Not only, he tells you exactly where to find the information. How often does this happen? How many Christian terrorists are there really versus Muslim terrorists? Okay. The problem is, though, you guys are going for this book, which again I should tell you to read. It's basically the mouthpiece that a lot of social justice warriors seem to actually be following without realizing it, which is why a lot of social justice warriors are hated, because you refuse to allow the other side to talk. You blow horns and call the other side racist and sexist, which makes people think that you might be the ones racist and sexist. Call all men and sexist, all whites racist. You turn people off to your ideology. Maybe people will listen to you if you listen to others. If you're unwilling to listen to me, I do not have to listen to you. That's basically how it works. Okay? I will never understand how social justice warriors can sleep at night defending Islam the way they do. And we're not talking about the various individual Muslims. We're talking about the religion itself and the extremists. Because if read the Quran. The only reason why we do not have Christians behaving that same way, and they would if they could, a lot of them would if they could get away with it, is because of our laws and the way society has basically forced them in the 21st century. These Muslims have not had that yet. That's why they still have honor killings. That's why we're having these bombings and these problems in Europe. I want to put a video by Armor Skeptic. He did a great video. He uses the analogy of the Vikings invading Britain. Because nowhere time in history has one culture and another culture came together and they were saying kumbaya, kumbaya. No, one culture usually will eradicate the other. It's rare that one will assimilate the other. Well, one will assimilate the other. The beliefs systems of Islam and Western values are just too different. The way they treat women, the way they feel about freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and all this stuff. And Armor Skeptic does a much better job than I will of explaining that, so I'm going to give a link to his video. And I urge you to watch videos from Armor Skeptic, Logic, and go to the Quran Reloaded. They're going over the verses of the Quran for you. And yeah, they can be a bit immature, but at least they're funny about it. They're funny. You should read that Quran. Almost every sentence is a threat of hell. Oh, God loves you, God's peace and mercy. And if you don't worship me, you're going to hell. I mean, the Bible ain't much better. I agree. But you have to realize something, though. The Quran, these Muslims, when Muhammad was writing this book, he obviously knew certain things about the Bible. So he knew what to correct or what to leave out. That's why, in the Quran, the older verses, take precedent over the newer verses. That way you can't say, hey, there's a contradiction. First, Muhammad is loving and sweet and kind to his neighbors. Then all of a sudden he's saying slaughter them. Of course, when the Muslims are a minority, they're going to get along with everybody. Once they are a majority, they're going to impose their views on everybody, whether they like it or not. Christians can try, but the Constitution prevents them from doing that. You may say, well, wouldn't the Constitution prevent Muslims? Well, they will probably try to change the Constitution. First, we'll see what they do to Europe. By the middle of this century, we should see the fruit of it. Probably by the mid to near the end of the century. Some of you social justice warriors will probably still be alive to see what you created in Europe. Let's hope that Europe can recover. And of course, it'll come to the United States. I'm not saying that Islam is, I'm not saying that individual Muslims are evil. They're not. It's just like with Christians. You gotta, they have to realize, they have to, I would love it if they would, you cannot just not criticize their religion. Just like we criticize Christianity. They need to see the faults in their religion, and maybe they'll turn from Islam, just like a lot of Christians turn from Christianity, or they don't take their, like Christians, a lot of Christians don't even bother reading their Bibles or taking it seriously. And if Muslims did the same thing with the Quran, then they'd be more peaceful. As if any religious person, Muslim, Jewish, or Christian took the holy book seriously, you're gonna, what society you're gonna have. Look at some of these Zionist Jews. Read the Old Testament and see what it tells Jews to do and how the Gentiles are going to worship them and all this stuff. I can't say enough about, just educate yourself about Islam. Get these books. There are many other books, And get books about slavery, about white slavery, Because slavery is slavery. I don't care how long you're a slave. You get, and also read about the Crusades. Not everything that you're hearing about the Crusades is true, because these Muslims were not innocent, and you got to ask yourself who invaded who first. Have you ever seen a map of the 9th century Europe before the Crusades started? You might want to try that. That's why I strongly recommend this book. And here's the name. You should be able to see it very carefully. Paul, Fregosi, and it's called Jihad. This one, Islam, A Raging Storm, by Dr. Sheldon Smith. I don't know if you can get this on Amazon, but you definitely can get this from Sword of the Lord Publishers. And it's definitely worth it. Both of them. Because intolerant Christians, I like that. I like how they, because see, the Christians are intolerant, Muslims are intolerant, religious people who really hold strictly to their religious dogma are very intolerant. That's why social justice wars come across as very hateful, violent, and intolerant, because they won't change their dogma, their beliefs, no matter what you tell them, how much information they get, and they're so dogmatic. Oh, you believe me or else. Like Mayor or Governor Bloomberg or Mayor, I don't know if it's, I'm sorry, I'm an idiot. But anyways, he wanted to ban sodas in New York. That's, obviously it blew up in his face. Now, definitely not going to agree with telling people they can and cannot agree with. However, if he were to institute a sugar tax, have extra taxes on sugary drinks, tax on alcoholic beverages, increase the tax on alcoholic beverages and cigarettes, things like that known to cause health problems, I have no problem with it. Because you can say, well, it'll help to offset the healthcare costs. There's all these people that get overweight, they're unhealthy, and it costs a lot of money to take care of them. But of course, banning these sugary drinks isn't going to work. That's why I don't agree with the burqa ban in France, because that's not going to really work. However, not allowing people to discredit Islam and their beliefs is definitely not going to work, because people are just going to do it more, and they're going to just, you're going to get these Donald Trump types that just want to block all Muslims from coming in. First off, that's just not going to happen. And second off, not all Muslims are evil, horrible people. Islam itself is evil and horrible, and it's the most evil religion at this point in time. Islam is the most evil religion. Whether you agree with that or not, just simply turn on the news. People love to bring up Christian. Oh yeah, I'm not a Christian, I'm an atheist. So please don't try to list of all, in the comments, don't list all the horrible stuff that Christians did, because I know what they did, and I do not support Christianity. But let's face it, they pretty much have been slapped down pretty much. Most people do not take them seriously. They're still running their mouths, but they're losing ground, they're losing their numbers. But the same thing needs to happen to Islam. You cannot ignore Islam. They are a threat that cannot be ignored. Thanks. Feel free to like, subscribe, feel free to watch any of my other videos. Feel free to leave a comment, and I'm sure some of you social justice warriors are going to leave a thumbs down, but go ahead and do that. Thanks.